Thanks, everyone. My name is Charlie Cicchetti. I'm going to be taking you through our study hall today. Let me turn on the webcam. I'm teleworking today. We did some philanthropy earlier. It was a great place we went to. We read books to some inner city kids, and it was great. They all got to pick their own book and pajamas. It's a really cool organization. It's a pajama reading program. So just want to take you through what's it take to pass that next LEED exam, or about 22% of the class, 20% of the class here going for your well AP. So I'm really excited for you. For those that don't know me, my name is Charlie Cicchetti, and I'm the CEO here at GBES.com, Green Building Education Services. And we've been helping people pass their LEED and now well exams for over 10 years. We were actually the first education company to come out with LEED practice tests way back late 2007. So it's been a wild ride. We've helped a lot of people advance their careers, boost their confidence on projects, ask better questions, all while passing the LEED exam, LEED Green Associate, all your LEED APs, and now the starting to gain even more popularity, well AP. I've taken and passed all the LEED exams and the well AP. So pretty good person to lead your study hall today. With that being said, if someone could just give me a little feedback, make sure you can hear me okay, just over in the chat box, let me know you can hear me, you can see me, and we'll have our study session. Since there's several different exams that all of you are taking, we did combine it into one study session. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first part, and I'm just going to give you the exam study and test tips that apply to all of the exams that you're going to take at the Prometric Testing Center. And then what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit about the BD+C exam, the GA, and the well AP in a little more detail, and we can actually do some practice questions together. So just want to make sure, thanks Allison, the sound is good. So just in general, some of you on here have already taken a LEED exam. Congrats. One point of information, if you go ahead and take your next level, your Tier 2 LEED exam, that can wipe out your LEED Green Associate continuing education need. Some of you might know that, but some of you might not. Remember, if you're a LEED GA, a LEED Green Associate, every 2 years, you need 15 hours of continuing education. But if you go ahead and take a LEED AP with specialty exam, then it'll start a new 2-year clock and wipe out that Green Associate requirement. So that's one strategy and one reason to go ahead and take your next level LEED exam. With the well AP, it's kind of treated separate. The well AP, once you pass it, you're going to need 30 hours every 2 years, but there is overlap with some of your LEED general hours, some of your well general hours. You can find some overlap there. But let's go past these tests. For those that have never gone to a Prometric Testing Center, what I want you to know is all of these exams are 100 questions and multiple choice. Our practice tests on GBES.com, our customers tell us they're just a touch harder than the real exam. So we're really getting you ready. And our practice tests are exam simulators. I'm going to show you a feature. If you miss a question, tell me right then why I missed the question, okay? And so we're going to go through all that here today. But in general, you're going to study for a 100 question multiple choice exam. Now, the LEED Green Associate, I want you to focus on terminology. Where does this fit into LEED? I want you to download a LEED scorecard, and this is a good resource. Let me go ahead and show you this resource. It's for all the exams. But let's say you're going to take the LEED Green Associate. You got to keep those studies a little higher level. You can look at your candidate handbook here. It shows you how to sign up for the exam. For those of you going for the BD+C, we've got a few resources on this website for you, gbes.com/FAQ. And I'd want you to download the latest LEED scorecard, the latest LEED checklist. For anyone that's curious, make sure they know you are taking an exam based on the latest and greatest version of LEED, and that's LEED version 4. So let's pull that up. This document is going to help you, just one second here. This document is going to help you whether you are taking your Green Associate or whether you are taking your LEED AP BD+C. So this document right here is our LEED version 4 scorecard for new construction, BD+C. I want to make sure if you're taking the Green Associate exam, you know what fits into each category, but don't worry about how many points each one is worth, okay? ask yourself, if I do this LEED credit, what other LEED credits would it affect? If you're studying for the BD+C exam, that's the difference. Now you need to go line by line. How do I earn each and every one of these LEED credits or LEED prerequisites? So there's several different study tools that I'm going to point out. High level though, on your 100 question multiple choice exam, LEED or well, it's a process of elimination game. When you sit down at the real testing center, you absolutely want to make sure you know that you have 2 hours to take this 100 question exam. The Green Associate, you'll probably fly through that. A lot of you know building terminology. A lot of you probably have been studying and you've got a good start. You're going to go through that exam fairly quickly. The BD+C and the Well AP and the LEED ND and the LEED AP ID+C, the other ones that everyone has said they're studying for right now that's on the study hall, you know, those are going to take more time. They're just wordier questions, okay? They're just wordier questions. But you have 2 hours there at that Prometric Testing Center. If you're not sure where there's a Prometric Testing Center, you can go to prometric.com/GBCI and you can find out, okay, where is the testing center? I'm based here in Atlanta. I travel a good bit for work. But let's say we were taking our exam in the state of Georgia. Again, this is prometric.com/GBCI. Where is that testing center? Hey, I might have took it at 1, but you know what? It was really hard to park there. I don't want to stress myself out that morning that I'm going in. And so if we were taking our exam in Georgia, now there's actually 4 testing centers in and around Atlanta. And again, one of my first pro tips is maybe you're in the middle of Manhattan. I'm in New York City quite a bit. You know what? Go to a testing center you know it's going to be easy to get to. But you also want to go to a testing center that, you know, when you go to sign up, it has the date you really wanted. So let's say I was going to schedule another LEED exam and the Piedmont Avenue, you know, testing center didn't have the date I wanted. I could go to one of the other testing centers and see if they had a date available to load that LEED exam or load that well exam. So maybe you want to go ahead and figure out which testing center am I going to go to? What day am I going to take this exam? This is my next tip. Some of you that have heard my material before, you've probably heard me say it, but essentially, you need to go ahead and sign up for the exam. Even if you're early in your studies, I promise you, I'd really like you to go ahead and sign up. What happens is it's going to force you to study. You know, maybe you sign up for your exam 2 months from now. That's okay. At the Prometric Testing Center, you can actually sign up to 3 months in advance. When they have seats available, they do give out other exams at the testing center, real estate exams, nurse licensing exams, etc. But make sure the Prometric Testing Center, they're the only type of testing center, computer lab, that gives out the LEED and the well exams. Make sure they have the day and time that you really want to take this exam. Schedule ahead, go ahead and book it. Maybe your company can reimburse you. And you know what? Study. You know that date's on the calendar. It's going to force you to study a little bit each week as that test date approaches. The next tip is when you pick your time, and this applies to all the LEED and well exams. That's why I want to give you just a few of my best practices here. When you pick the day and time you want to take the LEED exam, make sure you take it in the morning or maybe mid to late morning. Please do not think you can take it at 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Even if you read the entire book, you know what? Who knows how your day went at work? You're going to burn all the glucose. You're just going to be kind of fried. You're not going to have the energy you need to do well on that exam by the evening. So take your exam morning or mid-morning, and then take off the rest of the day and celebrate when you pass your test, okay? So those are the test scheduling tips. Let's talk a little bit about what happens when you're in the testing center. And I know for some of you, you've already passed the LEED exam. This might be a little refresher, but I want to go through it because it's just that important, okay? All right, so let's go down. This is the LEED AP BD+C Candidate Handbook. All of you are candidates towards your next professional credential. This book for GA, BD+C, ND, any of the exams you're going after, well AP, we've got that here on our frequently asked questions website. If you just go to gbes.com, you can go over here to the right side, or you can just go to gbes.com/FAQ, and that's where we've got everything kind of laid out for you to download. Go down here to free resources, And then whichever credential you're going after, that's where you can see the latest study tools and the candidate handbook. Okay, you want to download the right candidate handbook. Okay, and so let's say we're taking this LEED AP exam, and it's test day, because we've already told you to schedule ahead. Most of the most of the LEED and WELL exams are going to break their questions down into these three categories. Recall, which is that really quick, man, do I remember that definition or that percentage? It's just that quick factual information. Recall questions, application questions, that's more of like a scenario, or analysis. And that's when they want you to kind of break the components down. They usually give you information that's not related. And that's the hardest part sometimes of these LEED and WELL exams, is they're going to give you information, and you need to know the lay of the land enough to say, oh, well, that fits into LEED over here. That's not relevant. This is the information that's relevant. Now let me answer the question. So you're going to get three types of questions on your LEED and WELL exams. It is a 100 question multiple choice exam. You're going to have 2 hours to take that exam. When you first get to the testing center at Prometric, I know for some of you this is a refresher, others this is brand new, and this is like gold right now. When you first get to that testing center, what I suggest, and I haven't told you about my background, but essentially I've been helping people pass LEED exams for the last 10 years, and more than that actually. And I work on a lot of LEED projects, WELL projects, Fitwell projects. I've just made a career out of green buildings, and I love to teach, but I always give this tip is when you first sit down, they're going to give you 10 minutes to learn how to use the computer there at the Prometric Testing Center, okay? That should take you about not even 20 seconds, because there's 3 buttons: back, next, or mark a question to come back to it later. What I suggest you do with your other 10 minutes before your official exam starts is first take some deep breaths. It's not that bad. Hopefully you've been studying. You got it. Boost your confidence a little bit. Write down some things. They're going to give you either scratch paper. Here, let me turn the camera back on. They're going to give you either scratch paper, okay, or they're going to give you a dry erase sheet and a marker. But you want to go ahead and you want to go through and jot down some things. If it's a LEED exam, maybe you want to put down ASHRAE 90.1 is energy code, and ASHRAE 62.1 is ventilation, or green seal is paint. If it's a WELL AP exam, you're probably going to want to jot down, okay, after 12 preconditions in air, that's where the things I have to do stop and the optional items kick in. Again, you might want to jot down some things before your official exam does start. What happens is you can go ahead and hit start, and you'll have 2 hours to do the 100 question multiple choice exam. Or take a little time and write down some things. You know what? Even if you never look at that page you wrote down things on, that brain dump you did before you started, since it's a closed book exam and they made you put everything in a locker and they gave you a key, it's going to boost your confidence. Taking the deep breaths, write down a few things, dive into the exam, okay? All right, so with that being said, now let's talk about, again, the type of questions you're going to get. I want you to keep a good pace. I really do. Technically, are some of the questions worth more than others? Well, yes, but we're not going to stress out about that. My next piece of advice to you is just keep a good pace. Treat each question equally. Try not to get hung up on any one question. Maybe there's a question that just came from out of left field. You know what? It's okay. Guess at it, mark it, and maybe come back to it if you have time at the end of the exam. You're going to have these recall questions. Those should be quick. Application a little longer, and the analysis ones on some of your exams, for example, the LEED AP, BD+C, ND, or ID+C exams, you are going to get some pretty detailed information. They're going to give you a table with information. Hey, here's all the different roof components, and we have to do a quick calculation on, is our roof compliant for heat island reduction? You know what? That's one of those where you've got to throw out what's not relevant, focus on what is. Now, on the real testing center computers, this is a newer feature. You can right-click to strike through answers you know it's not. So process elimination, kind of a visual. You can left-click highlight any information you think is relevant, and then you make your selection, and then you move on. keep a good pace. Don't get thrown off. Try to just answer all the questions. You do have to answer all the questions on all of these LEED and WELL exams. I'll talk about scoring in a minute, but essentially, try not to mark more than 20 or 25%. And no matter what, at the end of the exam, you've gone through all 100 questions. I do not want you to click the button that says, show me all the questions again, okay? You're not allowed to do that. I know you'll talk yourself out of right answers. I really, really don't want you to do that. Instead, go back and look at the questions you marked, okay? Only change your answer if you have a good reason to do so. Stick with your gut. There's going to be some questions that you just don't know. You're going to have to process elimination, make a guess, and run with it. Mark some if you have time, then you can come back at the end of the exam and you can change some answers. Only change your answers if you have a good reason to do so. So 100 questions, multiple choice. You might get a handful of pick 2 or pick 3, some multiple answer questions. We've got some of those on our LEED exams. Not as much on WELL. The WELL AP is pretty much A, B, C, D. Pick 1. Any questions coming in from anything I've just covered about signing up, scheduling ahead, the testing center kind of format, jotting down anything, any questions there? If you would, over on the right side in our GoToWebinar control panel, if you would just, you can type questions under the question box and let me know if you have any additional questions. All right, let's talk about scoring. And then I'll shift gears, answer some of the questions that have come in for those of you that put a question in when you registered. And then we'll talk more specifically about each of these exams. Okay, here's a question that's coming in just a second. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the scoring, okay? Let's talk about the scoring. And then I'll show you some resources, okay? So the scoring, 2 hours to take a 100-question exam. This is probably super frustrating, but bear with me just a second. You need to get a 170 out of 200. Now there's 100 questions. Technically what happens is out of 100 questions, they throw out 15 questions. And this is true for all your LEED exams and your WELL AP. They're going to throw out 15 questions. GBCI, Green Business Certification Inc., you know, they draft up these exams, they give out the exams, they credential us as professionals, and they certify our buildings, our projects. They are testing some questions. They're called beta questions. So out of 100 questions, they're going to throw out 15. Those don't count against you. They're unscored. And then they score the remaining 85. Yes, some are worth just a little more than others. But what I want you to do, like I've said, keep a good pace, treat each question equally. In my humble opinion, you need about an 80 to an 85% to pass this test. Technically, what happens now, you used to get your score on the screen when you're done. Now they email you a nice report card within about 10 minutes, and you'll know if you passed or not. You need a 170 or higher to pass your LEED or your WELL exam. Okay, so that's how scoring works. Don't get super frustrated if they throw out some questions, okay? One more thing to note before I get off of this document, hopefully everybody can still see my screen. They actually tell us how many questions they're going to give us out of 100 for each of the main knowledge domains, whether it's a LEED Green Associate exam or the document we're looking at is LEED AP BD+C, since about half of you are going after your BD+C exam. And we're going to get 8 questions from the LEED process, 9 questions from the integrative strategies, 9 location and transportation, 9 sites, 9 water, 14 energy. Remember, energy and atmosphere, it's the biggest category. It's where we get the most points on our LEED projects. If you want to move on up the scale to silver, I'm sorry, not silver, but to gold or to platinum, you've got to save a lot of energy and get cars off the road. A lot of questions come from EA. You can see how many questions from materials, the indoor environment, and project surroundings, public outreach. And remember, add all those up, but essentially 15 though will be thrown out unscored. So at least they tell us where they're going to pull questions from, and that's what this document is good for. How do you sign up? So your candidate handbook, gbes.com/FAQ. How do you sign up? What are those costs again? And then you want to download your candidate handbook, okay? All right, so let's go. I showed you where to sign up, Prometric. Let's go back to some additional resources. One of you was asking about this document. This is the LEED version 4, because that's what you're going to be tested on. You know, LEED's been around for 18 years now. We're on to LEED version 4. That's what you'll be tested on. Some of you have probably been reading on the USGBC website that essentially this year they're rolling out LEED version 4.1. Don't stress about that for your exam. It's going to be an incremental tweak to LEED version 4. Exam world, no stress. Your exam is going to be focused on LEED version 4, at least for the next year, maybe longer. But technically by the fall, if you're working on a new construction project around November at the Greenbuild conference this year, Greenbuild, about 25,000 professionals get together. It's in Chicago. They're going to announce LEED version 4 for new construction, LEED version 4.1 for new construction and interiors, small tweaks to LEED version 4. LEED version 4.1 for O+M, they just rolled out, and it's kind of beta, kind of pilot form. Exam world, no stress. The exams are based on the rating systems as we've had them for the last 4, maybe 3 years, 3.5 years. That's LEED version 4. Well, not to digress too much, well is in well version 1, but let me show you what's happening with the well AP and which version you need to be focused on. But you know, going out to Shannon, your question here, this Excel file, if you're studying for the GA, how is everything grouped? If you're studying for the LEED AP BD+C, line by line, how do we earn those credits? You can download that here, gbes.com/FAQ. At the bottom, click on free resources, pick which credential you're going after, and then that's where you can download the right documents. In a minute, I'll get to the question about GA and BD+C in the same sitting, but let me show you well AP. For those of you on here for your well AP, I commend you. Actually, I forgot to show some statistics. LEED Professionals at a Glance is a great tool. It's a great website. So let's take a look at LEED Professionals at a Glance and also the latest count on well. So LEED Professionals at a Glance, if that would pull up. Just taking a second here. LEED Professionals at a Glance. This has been updated as of April of this year, April 2018. There are 200,000 LEED professionals in the world. That's over the last 18 years. You can see how many there are in each country. That might seem like a big number, but I assure you, it's not. If you add up all the architects, all the engineers, all the developers, all the suppliers, all the building product manufacturers, all of the building engineers, all of the chief engineers, all of the property managers, and the entire world, for those that deal with new and existing commercial buildings and interiors and entire neighborhoods, you know what? This credential still absolutely is going to set you apart. Now, keep in mind, this credential stays with you, the professional, okay, throughout your career. Now, a lot of your companies, and we work with a lot of big firms and construction companies too, you know, they're probably helping pay for this, maybe reimbursing for it if you're lucky enough. They're supporting it. So you're giving them a competitive advantage. You know the latest with LEED. You can ask better questions on your projects, keep those costs down, know where to go for extra research. But the credential, it stays with you, the person, you, the professional. So this is a pretty cool website. Let's check it out. Several of you are going for your LEED Green Associate. There's only 36,000 LEED Green Associates in the world. BD+C, there's only 39,000. What happened was before June 2009, you could be a LEED AP only, a legacy LEED AP. That makes up a big number. But those that have gone on to specialize and take one of the newer LEED exams and keep up their continuing education, you can see that number is even smaller. Some of you are going maybe for O&M, less than 3,000 people in the world. ID+C, I think there's about 5 of you in the study hall today going for this. I commend you, less than 3,000. ND, less than 900, homes less than 700. So this is a big deal. This is a closed book professional credential, and we're here to help. At GBES, we help professionals in their green building career, whatever you need to pass these tests and then keep it up. Make sure you know we also do continuing education. We have an awesome library of CE hours, so come back to us after you've passed and we'll hook you up with the CE hours. We've got some great deals there. So here's the different LEED credentials. So there's 200,000 LEED professionals in the world. You know, LEED's been out for about 18 years now. The first LEED projects got certified in 2000. The LEED AP original exam came out in 2001-ish. Let's take a look at WELL. If you scroll down on wellcertified.com, currently, and they update this website in real time, essentially, there are 3,200 and counting WELL APs in the world, WELL accredited professionals. Another 2,300 registered. A lot of you on this study hall register for your WELL AP. Can't wait for you to earn this credential. I love the WELL Building Standard. I'm a WELL AP. I'm WELL faculty. That just means, you know, I'm a good person to teach all of the WELL Building Standard, either a 1 hour or an 8-hour class. I really like the material. Fortunate to be working on some WELL and some Fitwell projects. But take a look. The WELL AP, yes, it costs a little more. It's about $650 instead of the $250 for a LEED exam. You have to study the medical statistics. And the wellness real estate movement, it's going strong and it continues to grow. Make sure you have an answer for wellness real estate in your business and over the next couple of years in your career. So those are some of the latest statistics. Just wanted to show you that and let you know, hey, this is a big deal when you go and pass this exam. All right, so let's go back. A question coming in. Hey, what about taking the GA and the BD+C at the same time? All right, so technically, yes, you can take the LEED Green Associate, 2 hours, pass it. You can move on and take the BD+C in the same sitting. You know, you can do it. I did it for GA and O+M back in 2009. It's just a lot of testing and your brain is fried. So let's say the GA only takes you 45 minutes. You blow through it. You can click. It'll actually quickly score you. And as long as you pass the GA part, you're going to move on and take the specialty part, and that'll take most of the 2 hours. So Yasha, great question. If you're going to take both in one sitting, if that's how it works best for you, my tip would be study high level for the Green Associate, your vocabulary, the lay of the land here, how is everything organized in a LEED project, and really shore that up. After that's good, then go line by line for each of the LEED credits. We have some great study guides, but as you can tell here at gbes.com, sure, we have some very fairly priced, awesome study tools, but we also give you links to the free resources. And this is one thing I would recommend if you're taking the BD+C exam, is you go to usgbc.org/credits, new construction, version 4, and you really go line by line, credit by credit. How do I earn the bike racks on a new LEED project? Okay, old LEED projects, I have bike racks and showers. How many? New LEED version 4, I have to have bike rack, showers, and a bike network. Oh gosh, I need to know that. So for the BD+C exam, you got to get more detailed, okay? Good question there. Any other questions? Anything we've covered so far? If you would, over in the question box, go ahead and type your questions to me. And let me go ahead and answer some questions that have come in over the last few days when you registered. In no particular order, finding study tools. Let's clear that up now. If you have made a purchase from GBES.com, from our company, Green Building Education Services, you're going to want to just go back to GBES.com at the top right. You're going to want to come up here and log in. Okay, you can log into your account. Let me log in as this account. And, just a second. After you log in, you're going to get to in my home computer here, I've got it set where there's less whites, but when you log in on your computer, it may look just a little bit different here. But essentially, this is how you're going to access all of your online study material, okay? For those of you studying for an exam, it's going to be on the left side, all of your good study tools here. Maybe you just focused on practice tests. Hey, let me give you some test tips right now. Some of you learn best by reading. Some of you learn best by listening, watching a course. Some of you learn best by just taking lots of practice tests. So if you learn best by reading, hopefully you've gotten access to our study guides. They're searchable PDF study guides. We have those for LEED GA, BD+C, and a couple other credentials. Maybe you want to go through our study guide. Maybe read the whole thing. If you learn best by listening, under study guide, you can actually come in here and you can download MP3s of the different chapters of the different categories, okay? And we've got flashcards and some study cheat sheets. You don't have to get all of this, but if you buy our Platinum Pack, you do get pretty much all of this. But no matter what, whether you're taking a LEED or a well exam, I want you to take practice tests, lots and lots and lots of practice tests, okay? They're just like the real exam. And this is where you'd access all your material. We're going to do some practice questions in just a minute. So that question came in. Let's see, someone raised their hand. Let me take a look. I'm going to try to unmute you. Jay Wook, I'm not sure if I pronounced your name right. Hi, can you hear me? Do you have a question? Nope, sorry, that didn't work. Anyone else have a question? Nope, I think we're good. All right, a couple others that came in before we started. Just the BD+C, what version of LEED? It's LEED version 4. One of the websites I really wanted you to focus on is the usgbc.org/credits. Great resource for your projects. Great resource for your studies. If you're taking the LEED Green Associate exam, this would be too detailed for you, in my opinion. Instead, if you're taking the LEED Green Associate exam, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but hopefully this is helping most everybody here. If you're taking the LEED Green Associate exam, what I would do is I would go back to our frequently asked questions page. And when you go on the LEED GA materials, we actually give you access to the glossary here of just the green building terms that show up throughout LEED. Okay, read up on your terms and definitions. Go ahead and sign up for the exam. Maybe if you want to take a course or if you want to read, do that, but then take as many practice tests as you can. For BD+C, it's going to be similar, but now it's line by line, usgbc.org/credits, some of our coursework. Maybe you want some flashcards. Take 20 flashcards a day. You can use your flashcards on your phone or your mobile device. You can use them anywhere you have internet, at your work computer. Take questions during a lunch break. Use flashcards during the day. You do have to put in some study time to pass this exam because it's a professional credential closed book exam. Okay, let's go to the next question. I'm an architect preparing for LEED GA. How should I then pursue the LEED AP? Which LEED AP would be best for me? That's an awesome question. I showed you on this page. And to clear up a couple things, you do have to pass the LEED GA, the LEED Green Associate first. That is a Tier 1 professional credential, okay? And so you have to pass that exam first. Once you've passed it, then you can move on and take a LEED AP with specialty. What that means is if you're working on a LEED version 4 project and you want to get an extra point under innovation, you have to have a LEED AP for that type of building, that type of project, in order to say you've specialized in it. So let's say you're working on a LEED for existing building project. My consulting firm, we actually green up a lot of existing buildings in, say, New York City or DC or San Francisco. So we have to have LEED AP O+M. That means we've specialized in existing buildings. But let's say we're working on a brand new construction project in Mexico for an office building developer. Well, we would want LEED AP BD+C. And so to answer that question, which is a great question, my suggestion is pass the LEED Green Associate first. Then you have a professional credential. Then you can take a little time, choose the right LEED specialty for you. In today's marketplace, if you work on new construction out of the ground and major renovations, BD+C is probably what most of your company does. But if you have an opportunity to do interiors, there's not a lot of people that have that one. If you have an opportunity to be that well expert inside of your company right now, jump out in front on that one. Well AP, not a lot of well APs yet, but the number is growing. It's a wonderful program because LEED's about being better for the environment, being more efficient, being less of an impact on the environment. Great program. Let's design and build and hopefully operate green. But well, it is about the people, and we're going to be inside. So let's have a healthier building, a healthier space, more productivity, and how our building is affecting us and our body. So 2 different programs. If you are a LEED project, though, you get a head start, probably about a 25% head start into the well building standard. Other questions that have come in, GBCI versus the US GBC. So the US Green Building Council, they invented LEED, they keep it updated, okay? Versus GBCI, they are the certifying body. So they certify our projects, they certify our well projects, our LEED projects, and they also give out our credential exams. So they're the ones that send the information to Prometric, the testing center. They give out our exams. Just wanted to clear that up. The well building standard, what is it based on? I'm just going through some of the questions that came in ahead of time. So if we go back to wellcertified.com, there's 2 wellness programs out there. Well has really just been out for the last about 4 years now, where projects could actually enroll, go through the process and certify, register and certify. Well is backed though by the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, a lot of medical research, the International Health Organization and some others. So a lot of medical research is behind the well building standard. Right now, well is the premier wellness certification for a project. But another program that's come on the scene is called FitWell, and that's a CDC program. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but I want to serve you and let you know that there's kind of 2 types of wellness certifications right now. Depending on your project, one is maybe in its current state better than the other, but again, it depends on the project. Be on the lookout for a webinar coming up. We'll put out about well versus FitWell, okay? But all of you, I do highly, highly suggest you have an answer for wellness real estate over the next couple of years. A lot of you on here are going for your well AP now. That's going to be a huge deal for you at this point in your career and within your company. I assure you, you'll be that wellness expert internally. Go ahead and go for your well AP. Only about 3,200 people have passed that exam so far. Other questions? How do you know if a question on the exam is going to be graded or not? You don't. If the question comes at you from and I know we have some international customers here, and maybe the sports analogy doesn't fit, but if it comes at you from out of left field, hopefully if you've been studying, that's one they're going to throw out. But you still have to guess at it, mark it, move on, go through the entire exam. You've got to answer all the questions, remember, and hopefully that's one they're going to throw out. Last question here, and then we're going to go into the exams and then some practice questions. Do you have to have worked on a LEED project to take a LEED AP with specialty exam? No, they changed that rule just a few years ago. You used to have worked on a LEED project, at least one, to take one of the specialty exams, like LEED AP, BD+C. They pulled that back and instead have put some project scenario questions on there. And you don't have to have worked on a LEED project, but LEED AP, BD+C, O&M, ID+C, Indian Homes, Neighborhood Development and Homes, you don't have to have worked on a LEED project, but it would help. We've got a lot of project scenario questions built in our practice tests. We also here at GBES offer a really cool project experience course. It's a 12-week, get you on a couple LEED projects, and we really get under the hood of the entire process. So be on the lookout for that. It can help you study and pass the exam, or maybe you've already passed some LEED exams and you really just want to get some LEED experience, actual experience. Be on the lookout for that. We're in the middle of our session right now, and we're going to probably offer that again in the fall. It's an awesome course. 3 of us LEED experts get on there and really take you through an entire LEED project. It's really a lot of fun. All right, so I think that's most of the questions that have come in. If I didn't get to one of yours, if you would, in the question mark box, just hit me up with your question. One more. What happened to my credential if I can't do the LEED AP within 2 years after doing the GA? So if you earn the LEED Green Associate, let's go back here. This is a professional credential exam. Okay. If you pass this exam, when you pass this exam, excuse me, you have to do 15 hours of continuing education every 2 years. Okay. What happens is 3 of those hours need to be LEED specific, and the other 13 can be, the other 12 can be general hours. We have complete 15-hour packages on our website, so it'll make it easy for you. And we actually auto-report your hours to the US GBC. We sync it up and help you report them. But essentially, you would either have to do your continuing education every 2 years. Maybe you've also worked on some projects, or you can go ahead and take the next LEED exam, and that would erase the CE, the continue ed requirement. So hopefully that answered your question, Wahida. Good question. Pass this exam, and then you have options. Okay, good. Yeah, thanks for your comment about the LEED project management course. It's a really fun course. We're going to offer that again this year. Okay, so now let's talk about these exams. I know we only have about 15 minutes left. I'm going to give you just a few direct tips on the exams all of you are about to take. LEED Green Associate, keep your studies high level, more vocabulary, more where does this fit into LEED, okay? If I were to pull up that scorecard again, just how is everything grouped? If I do this LEED credit, what else would it affect? You do need to know a little bit about a lot of things. That kind of makes the LEED GA a little tricky. But those are my tips there. Take lots and lots of practice test questions. If you're not doing great in one category, go read or listen to the category that you need to shore up. If you're taking the BD+C credential, we've been talking about it. Now it's time to get more detailed. And the next set of comments is the same for ID+C, ND, Homes, or O&M. In my opinion, BD+C is the toughest LEED exam, followed by ND. But what happens is out of 100 questions, you're going to get 10 or 12 calculations. So you do need to get more familiar with your numbers as you go through, how many bike racks and showers. We might need to calculate that. They might give you a question about the roof or the hardscapes. Hey, here's all of the square footages of our hardscapes, our different types of hardscapes. Are we compliant? What would it take to be compliant to earn those LEED credits? And so you're going to get into some more of those detailed questions there. On the LEED AP BD+C or ID+C, any of the specialty LEED exams, you've got to go line by line. How do I actually earn each one of these credits or prerequisites? Plus, that's going to force you to really level up your LEED knowledge, because then you really are going to be like a LEED encyclopedia in that next project meeting. You really are going to remember those numbers, those percentages, that standard we have to follow. It is a lot of information. That's why you want to chip away at it, okay? Let's see. On the BD+C exam, again, 10 or 12 calculations. Not super detailed, but more detailed than the Green Associate, okay? You still have a lot to cover. Now, about 85% of your exam, your BD+C exam, is going to be about new construction. This document right here. You're going to probably get just a handful of questions about core and shell and schools. That's it. Okay, schools has a couple unique credits, joint use of facilities, a prerequisite for acoustics, one of my favorites. Core and shell just has a couple additional credits. Most of your BD+C exam is going to be about new buildings out of the ground, but you'll get just a few questions about core and shell and schools. Focus on what makes them different. Which credits are unique, okay, to schools, K through 12 schools, or core and shell. Take lots and lots of practice questions, but here you've got to put in more study time than the Green Associate, okay? And again, that goes for any of you studying for the O&M, ID+C. You've got to go line by line. How do I earn these credits? Remember that additional website I sent you? I showed you right here, usgbc.org/credits. Let's say some of you that have logged in, you are going for your LEED AP O+M. You would go here. You're going to pick O+M, just existing buildings. Look at this list. So with LEED version 4, what happened was they came out with slight tweaks to the program to better accommodate for data center or hospitality or warehouse or data, any of that. But for your exams, exam world, just focus on the core program. LEED, operations and maintenance for existing commercial buildings, LEED version 4, let that refresh. Okay, if I'm studying for the O+M exam, I'm going to go line by line. Hint, you're going to get a lot of questions out of the energy category about your ASHRAE level 1 and level 2 energy audits and some of those other features there about commissioning, retro commissioning. ND, gosh, ND is, that was a hard one for me. I know buildings, I know project to project. I'm not a urban planner. I know some of you that are taking the ND exam, you are. So you understand the distances, you understand the different planning and your setbacks and how wide can the sidewalk be and a lot of the different kind of land planning numbers and dimensions. That was a little tricky for me, but I would focus my studies as you go through and learn about LEED ND. You know, you can click on LEED ND, go line by line, then take our practice test. Now for ND and homes, we have practice tests and flashcards. For all the other credentials, we have even more study tools than that, but this is a good resource here. Now for the WELL AP, and then we'll do some practice questions together. For your WELL AP, some of the advice I have has to do with, let me pull up a WELL scorecard. Well, one of the first things with the WELL AP is, not to stress you out, but August 12th, they're going to slightly tweak the WELL AP exam. Technically, they could slightly tweak the LEED exams. I don't think that's going to be an issue. This is what we do for a living. We're tapped in pretty closely to the USGBC, GBCI, and IWBI. So on the LEED side, you know, full speed ahead. On the WELL side, you know, they might adjust maybe 10% of the questions, because what's happening is the current version of the WELL exam is based on changes through 2017 Q1 addendum, and then after August 12th, it's going to be Q1 January 2018 addenda. And so what we've done here on my team is we've gone through and already marked up the changes. If any of you are going to be taking the exam after August 12th, shoot us an email, customercare@gbes.com, or shoot me an email, charlie@gbes.com. We'll share that document with you of what changed. So that way you're not like, oh, I got to study all over again. No, not at all. Not at all. These exams aren't that bad. I know they can create some anxiety, but you have to put in a little study time, go take it, pass it, and I promise you it's going to be a big boost and bring you a lot of credibility. So on the WELL AP though, if you can take it before August 12th, please do so. If you can't, that's fine. They might make some slight adjustments to the WELL AP. We're on it. We're going to load in some practice questions to accommodate, and we'll be good. So that's just a public service announcement there. But on the WELL AP, you can see the changes. You know, are you taking it before or after? But essentially what happens, some of my study tips for the WELL AP, if we go down, you need to know your, you know, air category. There's 12 things you have to do there. And you need to know a lot about air filters, the different types. You need to know a lot about water filters, the different types. You need to know some health statistics. So actually, one of my best tips on the WELL AP is if we download this document, when you're, bear with me just a second, let's say we're studying, well, first of all, you need to learn about the body systems and how our buildings affect our different body systems. For example, hint, you might get a question, which body system does herbicide and pesticide affect, okay? And you need to know that's the reproductive system. All right, so let's say we're studying for the well AP. As we're reading this, luckily this one they give us for free, this well building standard. It's a searchable PDF. As we're going through the well building standard, you want to pick up on the health statistics, okay? For example, you know, it's talking about some of the most common air pollutants. You might need to know some of those. Let's say we get into one of the well gosh, I apologize, can't talk today. Let's say we're getting into one of the well features. You do need to know feature number 1, what are we testing for? But here's an example of something you will see on your exam. As you're studying for the well AP, you need to know some of these statistics like smoking takes 10 years off your life. That will show up on your well AP exam. Some of those health statistics for sure. Okay, there we go. Smoking can take 10 years off of your life. All right, so those are my well AP quick tips. A couple questions have come in, and then I'm going to log in and do a few practice questions together. Okay, let's say, you know, some of us are better test takers than others. Let's say it really stresses you out to take an exam. So let's go through some ways that you can work on that. You know, an obvious answer is put in the right amount of study time, but don't study so much that stresses you out. But what I would recommend is go ahead and sign up for that test date, maybe 6 to 8 weeks out. Determine how much you're willing to study each week over that period of time, and just commit to it. If you're scoring higher on our practice tests, you know what? You're probably ready for the real exam. Let's just do some LEED Grant Associate questions for a minute. But on test day, and the night before, and these are simple test taking tips, whether you're in high school or college or you're taking a LEED or well exam, you know, get a good night's rest, eat a good breakfast, try to, you know, leave early, and just don't get any extra stress on your plate as you're going to take that professional credential exam, closed book. When you get to the testing center at Prometric, they actually do make you empty your pockets, put everything up in a locker. They'll give you that key, they check in, and you have that 2 hours to take the exam. But what I think would really help if it stresses you out to take exams is take that first 10 minutes before the test starts, take some deep breaths, write down some things you might forget, like I mentioned earlier. And I promise you, good question there coming in. All of that will help you. And at the end of the exam, when you hit submit, if you're like, I don't know, that probably means you passed. So get that email. Hopefully you scored over a 170. You passed. If you would, give us a testimonial. We love it when we hear from our customers and what are they doing with their green building careers, and we get those testimonials. And again, don't forget us for your continuing education down the road. As a loyal customer, we'd love to give you a really good discount on our CE library. One more question, and we'll do some practice questions. The GA versus the BD+C or ID+C. So the Green Associate, high level, lots of vocabulary. Where does this fit into LEED? You don't want to get detailed. The BD+C or ID+C, the BD+C is harder, in my opinion, than the ID+C, the interiors exam. But on both of them, you need to know line by line which LEED credits. How do I earn each LEED credit? Okay, line by line. You get into some numbers. Both of those, I'd say the BD+C has more calculations than the ID+C exam, just from my experience. Now keep in mind, when each of you sit down at the testing center, they're going to load 100 questions from a larger pool of questions, and some of you will get slightly different exams than say someone else. Let me show you our practice test questions just for the next few minutes, and then we can wrap up. Let's say you're taking our LEED Green Associate practice test. We give you 600 different questions. For our BD+C, it's 500. For our well AP, it's 400. These are great, great questions, just like the real exam. Let's say we're taking test D. You know what? Just, tell me right then if I miss a question. why I missed it, and turn off scoring. Maybe I'm starting to take practice tests, and I really don't want to be stressed out if I miss a couple. So our system's going to shuffle up 100 questions. They are weighted as far as 11 of these, 9 of those, just like the real exam. So you're going to get the right mix of questions, just like you'll get on your LEED GA exam. What site selection would promote walkability and reduce vehicle distance traveled? Read the question. Hey, you're going to have enough time on the GA. Read the question twice. Read all the answers. Make the best selection. A couple other tips. When in doubt, pick the answer that's the greenest and makes the US GBC look good. On a well exam, similar. Which one of these is going to make the process not look impossible, but favorable? Hey, we can actually get there. We can actually do that. Think exam world. So which one of these is it? Let's just say we pick D. Our system says, hey, we missed it. It was actually B. Here's why you missed it. So these are how our practice test questions work. At any time, we can hit exit the test. It'll save where we left off. If we go down here, though, let's say we finished a 100-question exam. Instead of incomplete, instead what that would say would be review. We could click on it, and it gives us a report card. Our system will tell you how you're doing in each one of the categories. If you're not doing great in water, I want you to go back. And this time I want you to take, maybe it's closer to your test date. I want you to take all the water questions. Maybe if you missed it, tell me why I missed it. And we're going to give you 65 water questions in a row, so you can really shore up that category, okay? Let's say some of you are taking BD+C. Let me show you that real quick. Let's say you take test C. You know, these questions can get a little more deep. You can do any of these. One thing you might want to do is take one test cold. You know what? Let me go through 100 questions, and maybe I'm in better shape than I thought, or maybe wake up call, I'm going to have to study a little bit every day for the next few weeks, just 20, 30 minutes. Let me just get there. You got to chip away at your study material. On test day, you don't want to show up with a binder full of material you think you're going to go through, because you'll burn so much energy trying to study it, you're not going to do well in the real exam. Please narrow down your studies on test day. Have maybe a few things you want to brush up on, but don't waste your energy on trying to cram 1 or 2 hours before the exam. These ones are a little harder than that college quick exam that you might have crammed for. So narrow down your studies and let's get there. But on the BD+C exam, you can see some of the questions there might get a little more detailed. At any time, though, you can hit exit the test. It'll save where you left off. Let me show you well AP and we'll wrap up. Well AP, similar, or you can take them by concept, by category, okay? We've got some awesome practice tests, and I want to make sure all of you have access to that. Any other questions, anything we've covered? An hour goes quickly, but I did my best to give you tips that apply to all of the exams, okay? And the last thing I'll say is I really appreciate you being a customer of GBES. We want to help you through your entire green building career. So let's go past these tests. Look us up if you need anything at all, if you have any questions as you're studying, and you know, come back if you need your continuing education. We've got you covered with some really cool classes. Be on the lookout for our podcast. I'm really having a good time with our Green Building Matters podcast. We interview a green building professional once a week. Check out our blog and some of our other social media. So here to help. If you need anything at all, just reach out, and good luck on your exam. Thanks so much. You're going to do great. I'll stay on here for a few more minutes. For those that have to go, I understand. Others, I'll stop the recording and we can just keep chatting for a few minutes. A couple other questions that have come in. So your eligibility ID, what that means is you've gone to usgbc.org and you've actually registered for the exam. They give you a special code. It's called an eligibility ID. And what happens is that's what you take to the Prometric website, and you would click, and that's what you actually pick your day and time to take the test with. The eligibility ID, good question, that gets emailed to you after you register on usgbc.org, or if you're going for your well AP, from wellcertified.com. Yeah, any of you that have registered, you'll get a copy of this recording. Lisa will make sure that gets emailed out probably by tomorrow. And our project management course, it's an awesome course. It actually gets you over 30 hours of continuing ed. It helps you study for your BD+C, but we literally give you tools and templates that you can use on your LEED projects. And so be on the lookout for that. We're going to open that back up probably around September. And it's an awesome course. I hope you can jump on with us. It's moving up the scale to a more advanced course, and but you're going to have a lot of fun with that. Thanks, Yasha. And then lastly, if you're going to take the exams together, GA and BD+C, yeah, that's good advice. Read the GA study guide. Keep your studies a little higher level. Make sure you're good on the vocabulary. Remember, I showed you the glossary. Let me go back. So if you go here, Allison, additional resources, Green Associate. If you were going to take both in one sitting, then yeah, read the study guide. Make sure you understand a lot of the vocabulary that can be found here on this glossary, and shift gears, go all in on BD+C. Studying for the BD+C absolutely helps you for the Green Associate. It's just the Green Associate questions are high level. Where does this fit in? What does that word mean? And the BD+C is, how do I earn that LEED credit? What number do I have to hit? What standard do I follow? So really great questions. I can tell a lot of you are into your studies, and I'm proud of you, and I think you're going to do great. So we're going to send out this recording. Make sure you tell your friends about us. Send us that testimonial when you pass your exam. Keep us in mind for your continuing education needs. I put my email, charlie@gbes.com. If you need anything from me, if you just want to connect, hey, look me up on LinkedIn, Charlie Cicchetti, Cichetti. Love to connect, stay in touch, and thank you guys. Hope you have a great rest of the week, and good luck on your exam.